Let's go.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we know where we are in the story, that he's realizes that he has to go with this mob. So he says, just to finish, to start the, ich will gehen mit euch, aber nicht essen. I'm going to go with you, but I'm not going to eat. Kum, nehmt ihn, Jid. Come, grab him. Jew, is geworden a geschrei. It became a cry. A Sach Hand haben angehabt Jakob und genommen im Reißen. A lot of hands grabbed Yaakov and started to tear him. Die Stahl hat sich gefunden auf a Bergel. When Yaakov is halb gelaufen, halb gefallen. So the barn is located on a little hill, and Yaakov half ran and half fell down the hill. So we've got to see a Gestank, great word, a Gestank hat sich getrogen von dem Gesemmel, a stench came out of this crowd. Geräuchen von Schweiß, Hashtona, I don't know how to say that word in Yiddish. Und noch etwas Übeldickes, was es ist, gar nicht da der Fall kein Numen. So this stench, the smell was made up of sweat, urine, and some other nauseating thing which doesn't even have a name. A Stegel, wie die Campersseire, wollten gefoilt Lebendigkeit, as if their bodies were rotting alive. This crowd that's pulling him along. Yaakov had Aj barchat by Del Noz. Jacob, Yaakov, it was the word Aj. I'm always stopped by, but like it was so much. It was so excessive that he had to close his nose. Would that
No,
be
Yaakov
no?
gate. It grabbed Yaakov's nose.
The smell, the stench of it. When and the word aj is like it was.
Altogether.
Excuse me.
I would translate Aj as altogether.
Altogether. Okay. Grabbed his nose.
I
Yeah.
always
Azoi videreches seinen dekolis. As just as these smells, there were the voices. Die Maiden seinen sich vergangen in a gelach, was is geribber in a gewein. The girls, the young women, were carried away or were overcome by a laugh which went over, which became a cry. So this sort of the boundary between, and we'll see in the rest of it, the boundary between crying and laughing is very narrow. Die Jungen haben gehirschet, sich verkeichet, gefallen einer auf den anderen, gebild wie Hint. The young men, they neighed, they choked, and they fell one over the other, and then they barked like dogs. Emes ist gefallen, aber die anderen haben ihm nicht geprobt aufheben, wie das tun gewöhnlich Schikorim. Somebody would fall, but nobody would try to pick him up the way is normally done among drunk people. Nur sie haben getreten über ihm wie Chayes. Instead, they marched over him, they walked over him like animals. Yaakov ist geworden voll mit Drägenisch. Yaakov became filled with anxiety. Wie kon epis der ben Adam? How can it be that a human being was is beschaffen in God's form, which is created in God's image, azoi niedrig fallen? How can God's creature fall so low? Ze haben doch Tates, Mames, Gehirn, Herzl. After all, they have mothers and fathers and brains and hearts. These things could be said about a lot of people. They haben doch Augen, wo sehen Gottes Wunder. After all, they have eyes that see God's wonder. Kon a bisschen Okavit als opmecken und auslöschen. Can just a little bit, what is that? We talked about that once time earlier. That's vodka. Can it erase and destroy everything? Is Okavit vodka? Elka, I think you know the answer to that.
Well, it's a similar kind of thing, but it's referred to by a different word, and I don't know the difference in how it's made. But it's
well, we don't need to know that. But it's like vodka. It's like vodka.
It's in strength and in how it's used. It's like vodka, but I don't think it's identical.
Okay, well, but close enough. Okay.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, it's not so important. We can just, there's so many other things. They haben Jaakovin zugeführen zu a Platz mit zertreten Gras. They led him to a place with trampled grass, verkeulte Scheitenholz, burnt wood stumps, ash, blotte, makechets. This area was covered with trampled grass, burnt wood stumps, ashes, mud, and vomit. Es ist dort gestanden a Fessel Okavit, schon 3/4 ledig. They were standing here what do you call that? Not a bin. No, there's a word for that. A keg, a barrel of this vodka, but it was already 3/4 empty. Auf der Erde seien gesessen Schikora Musikanten mit a Poik, Pfeifels mit der Herne von Beck, Elnich sun Schoflers. They on the ground were sitting drunk musicians with a drum, pipes, and with horns from from goats that were similar to shofars. Einer hat gehalten a Zimbal, was die Strones seinen Oderen von Behemoths. One held a dulcimer. I'd love to, well, it's some sort of string instrument. And the strings of this instrument were the blood vessels of animals. Jeder eine von der Hamon is gewesen Schiko auf sein Stegel. Each one of this group was drunk according to his style. Einer hat gekocht wie a chazir. One, I guess, I don't know what a pig, a sound the pig makes. Croaks, whatever. Grunt. There's a good word. Grunts like a pig. A zweiter hat geleckt die Erde. A second one licked the earth. A dritter hat gepreppelt zu a Stein. A third one was babbling to a stone. A zweiter. A Sach seinen gelegen ausgestreckt wie die Pigoren. A lot were just lying there, stretched out like dead people. In Himmel is gestanden a volle Levone. In the sky was a full moon. A Schickse hat sich geklammert zu a Stamm von a Bäum. A non-Jewish woman was holding onto the trunk of a tree, geweint mit a Yormelech gewein, and cried with a heart-rending cry. What a scene, right? Emes hat angetrogen Zweigen und zugelegt zu a Feier, was hat gehalten beim Ausgehen. Somebody brought some twigs and was putting them on a fire which was about to go out. Die trockene Zweigelech haben sich angezündet. The dry twigs, the dry pieces of wood, burst into flame. A Pastuch hat geprüft verlöschen dem Flamm mit Hashtona. I'm not saying that word right. I want to be corrected on that.
That is
what?
Correct.
That's correct. Hashtona. A shepherd was trying to put out the flame with urine. Aber Machmes Shikoris hat nicht gekonnt sein, Barderfenisch. But he was trying to put it out with his stream of urine. But because of his drunkenness, he was not able to do his bodily needs. Die Nekevas haben gelacht, gepatscht. Now you can go to the next page, please. Gepatscht mit der Hand. The girls laughed and they clapped their hands. Rausgelost, rufen nicht a Säune und geschreien, was wie wohl Jakob ist schon so gewöhnt zu dem. They gave out such cries that wie wohl, and I learned that from Yaakov in this group, as much as Yaakov was used to these cries, hat es ihm jedes Mal von Snai verflippt und erschrocken, wie Pachdim dicker Cholom.
Pachodem dicker.
Say it again, please.
Pachodem dicker.
Pachodem dicker. Okay, Pachodem dicker. Even though he was used to this kind of these sounds, each time from anew, it stunned and frightened him as a frightening dream. There's Bashevis. Wow. Okay. That's it.
Well, Elka, would you like to go next? You're silenced, Elka, your mic.
Okay. Aha. Das is es. Yep, this is it. Die dosige Unwürdigkeiten haben Wade getan, die sieben Ummes. The same, what word is that? Unwürdigkeiten. Can you help me with that word?
Unworthy behavior.
The same unworthy behavior uh, had done the seven Ummes. What are the Ummes?
Nations.
Nations, yeah.
I think this is referring to the seven nations, which one after the other conquered the Jewish people. It goes back to Persia, and then there's Egypt, there's Rome, and so on.
Assyria, yeah.
So he recognized this as something that had happened in history.
Yeah, and he also is saying that these seven nations, which all themselves were destroyed, it's because of their Unwerdigkeiten, their unworthy behavior.
That Yaakov thought this to himself, said this to himself. Der Rebbe hat men wegen sie befeulen. La Tahia called Neshoma. Could you help with that, Rafi?
Yeah, it's most likely Loi Sechaya kol neshama. You should not leave a single soul alive.
And der Rebbe hat men wegen sie befeulen. This is how it befell them?
No, that's how God commanded about them.
That you should not leave a single soul alive. Yaakov hat Ingelweiss gehat
Tarumas, tarumas, complaints.
Tarumas of God. As a boy, Yaakov had complained to God. Favos umbringen ganze Völker. Why would you bring on this whole...
Umbringen is to kill.
And why would you kill an entire people?
Yes.
Was seinen Geben die kleine Kinder?
Neber. Was seinen Neber, the kleine. Why? Pitifully, Neber. How can I translate?
Why would you include little children in that? It's when Yaakov hat betracht das dosige Erefrof. Now, when Jacob had this same thought, and what's Erefrof?
Mixed multitude. It refers to the people who came out of Egypt along with the Hebrews. They're referred to as an Erev Rav. It's also Hoi Paloi, you could translate that, or this particular group of strange people.
Unworthy, it goes back to that.
I never heard before that other than Jews came out of Egypt with them.
Oh yeah, it says that in Genesis, Exodus, yeah. And this expression, I just looked it up, this Loi Sechaya kol neshama, that comes from Deuteronomy. And it's when God says, in the towns of the latter peoples, which your God is giving you as a heritage, you shall not let a soul remain alive. So it's referring then to a commandment. The Zibin Umas may be referring not to Egypt and so on, but the Kanaani and the other tribes which were in Canaan at the time that the Hebrews crossed the Jordan and entered the land.
And they had to be destroyed. They had to be
right, and God commanded
removed.
Yeah.
So God ordered ethnic cleansing.
Exactly. Now, whether this actually ever happened is debatable, but that's what it says in Deuteronomy.
Mm-hmm. So when Jacob thought about this, hat verstanden, als es upon faran aza tuma.
Tuma, uncleanliness.
Mm-hmm. Was kein Schum Wassern konnte nicht abschwenken. He realized that this was a kind of uncleanliness that no water could cleanse. Is that a good translation?
Yeah.
Okay. Nor muss sie ausräumen, ausbrennen. But you had to extinguish it and burn it out. Wassersteger konmenton mit die dosike priet. Podium?
Proim.
What can one do with such proim? What kind of people are those?
Common folk, I guess. Para Adam is referring to Esau. So nasty folk. How's that?
Mm-hmm.
Lowlifes.
What else can you do with such lowlifes?
Or savages.
Savages. Yeah, right. Well, look at this description we had before. I mean, look what's going on here. Vomit, ashes, mud, hugging trees, kissing dirt. It's pretty wild.
Well, all of that is disgusting, but I think what's referred to in the Bible that there have to be destroyed is that they do terrible things like sacrifice their children and so on. Aroiske geliarmt von zij die Getzendienst von vor tausender Jahren. I can only guess that you had to eliminate them as had happened for thousands of years. Is that?
No. The subject is the Getzendienst. The idolatry, hat arois gejarmt von zij, exuded from them, the Getzendienst von Tausender Jahren, of thousands of years back. So the idolatry of thousands of years ago was exuding from them.
Aha. Von die Blut verlaufene, übergedrehte Augen, wird daraus geglotzt Ball und what is this word?
Ashtaris. Yeah, these are both Canaanitic gods, Baal and Ashtaris, Astaroth, if you want.
Can you take that phrase too, please, Rafi? There's too many words I don't know.
Okay. From their bloodshot eyes that were also übergedreht, twirled around, was staring out both Baal and Ashtaris, Baal Peor and Molech. Baal Peor is another one of the Canaanite gods, and Molech was the one to whom the Canaanites sacrificed children.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So this was glowing or shining out of their crazed eyes.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. And there is the people he is surrounded by. Their eyes.
Emetz hat erlangt Jaakoven a Tepele Okovit. Yaakov had really been affected by
No,
the little drink of Akhovit.
Someone handed him.
Emetz is someone. Someone gave him.
Someone gave him a shot of Akhovit. Yaakov hat getan Shaluk.
A
What
schluck
is
is
that?
a gulp.
He took a gulp. Das ist nicht der Yesh, was man hat getrunken in Yusefov. This was not the
Yash.
same.
Yash. It's an abbreviation for Yai and Sarif, but it's pronounced Yash, not Yas. Burning wine or just distilled liquor.
Okay, so this was not the same kind of liquor that one had drunk in Yosefov. Nor Asam. I'm sorry. Can you pronounce that for me?
Amamovis,
Okay.
deathly, um,
Like poison.
deathly poison. Yes.
Yeah.
That it was a deathly poison. Was hat abgebrit die Lippen, which burned your lips. Akrel geton die Schlung. What is akrel?
It's a claw.
A claw would grab your tongue. Gebrennt das Ingeved. What is the Ingeved?
Innards.
It burnt your innards. Wie der zerschmolzener Blei, was man hat vor Zeiten reingegossen in Hals, jene, was ist sie gekommen, Schroffe, Sreife. So it burned your innards like the what hot lead? Is that lead?
Yes, melted lead.
Melted lead, which one used to for Zeitens
Long ago.
reingegossen in Hals. What's the Hals?
Throat.
Throat.
Which one would pour down the throat of anyone who had come to Schreifer. What is that?
Who had been sentenced to death by fire.
Ah. A pachod.
A pachet.
A pachet hat ongechapt Jaakoven. What is a pachet?
Fear.
Fear grabbed Yaakov. Hat man ihm gegeben some? Had they given him poison? Is gekommen sein Sof? Was he coming to his end? Hat sich gekrimmt, geknäult. What is gekrimmt and geknäult?
Krimmen is to make a face.
Yeah.
And geknäult is to roll.
So he grimaced and he rolled around. Zwischen die Pastucher is geworden a Geschrei, and amongst the shepherds was a cry. Git him noch, give him more. Sichort im on. Dem Yid. Let's get him drunk, this Jew. Gist him on, give him more. I'm going to stop here and let somebody else take over.
Ungissen is to pour. So pour it out, pour it into him. So Yankov, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Okay.
So get to you did not want to read.
Sorry?
Just a sec, Yankov. So Gitta, you did not want to read? You are muted, Gitta.
Okay. Do you want me to go?
Yeah, why don't you go next? And we'll put Yankov after you.
Okay. Chazer, get him Chazer, Chotemet Kiliamer. Pig, give him pig. One of them chanted or yelled or went along with it, whatever. What's yammered? I think it's yelling.
Yammered is it's to make an alarm. It means to clamor.
Yeah, clamor. Okay. A pastuch, a shepherd with a gestupelt ponem with a pockmarked face via Ribbeisen, like a grader, hat geprüft ein reinstupen Jaakoven a Stück Kalbas in Morals. So he tried to force feed Yaakov a piece of kalbas in his mouth. Yaakov hat ihm getan a stois. Yaakov gave him a punch, a push, a fist.
A shove.
A shove, thank you. Jener is a Fall getan und geblieben liegen wie a Klotz. That one fell down and stayed lying like a log. Hey, hat ihm gehaget. Oh, ha. He killed him. Was is mir euch passiert? What? That is also passiert. Owing to
Our
me?
fate.
Destined. Is that also my destiny?
My destiny.
Yeah.
Shvichos damayim? What is that? Shvichos damayim.
Shvichos domim, the pouring out of blood. In other words, bloodletting. Am I going to be a murderer?
So it says shpoches domim. Is that how you say it?
Shvichos domim.
Shvichos domim. Yaakov is mit Streuchelindikatrit, some kind of steps. Quiet, step by step, careful.
Faltering.
Tritt zugelaufen, faltering steps, ran to them in der Gefallenem, to the one that had fallen down. Danken Gott, thank God, is nicht tot. He's not dead. I would think otherwise, sorry. Is gelegen, is gelegen und gehorchelt Ziddlereien. He was lying and gehorchelt, kind of chortled, he was like, what was he doing? Like spit was coming out of his mouth, I think.
Well, yeah, he was growling. He was growling. Zidlerayan, curses.
What's Zidlerayan?
Zidl, Zidlen is to curse. So Zidlerayan are curses.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you. A shoim, that's the shoim that's coming out of his mouth. Foam.
Yes.
Hat sich ihm gebläselt auf die Lepsen. Foam was gebläselt, coming, like covering his lips, coming out through his lips.
A blezel is a bubble, so it's bubbling.
It bubbled. Okay. So a foam was bubbling out of his lips. Hat noch allzu neu gekramt. He was still holding, clutching the stick, the piece of kolbas, zwischen die Finger, between his fingers. Wels hat gelacht? Wels hat gedraht, gescholten? Who was laughing? What's gedrat? Gedrot.
Drotten is to threaten. But here, wer and wer, some people were laughing, some people were threatening.
And some were swearing, gescholten.
Yes.
Yeah, gescholten, Jid, chalamid. Jid chalamid is some kind of a saying they had, right? Jid chalamid. Jid is Jew. What is chalamid?
I've seen these together before, but I'm not sure.
It sounds to me like Jew blue. It's a rhyme. Jid chalamid.
Yes.
God
Yeah.
God murderer. Lidok. I don't know what that is. I don't know what Lidok, Fach, Metzura, Sterve. Those are all.
Lidok. Okay, Parach is someone with a canker on his head. Metzura is someone who has tsora'as, that is
lepers.
No, it's something like leprosy.
Isn't it like leprosy? Metzura?
Yeah, it's not really Hansen's bacillus, but all right, it's a skin
Okay.
disease.
What is Lydoc?
A Lydoc is a scoundrel.
And what's Shelve?
That's a worm.
Oh, thank you.
Right.
Worm. Okay. Thank you. Ein bisschen abgerückt hat ein Pastuch sich gehabt aufgeworfen auf ein Schicksal. A little away from the other ones, stand like a little bit off to the side. One of the shepherds had thrown himself on a shiksa, a non-Jewish woman. Geprüft sie Bamanen was trying to rape her, I gather.
Yes.
Aber Machmes Shikers, but because he was drunken, is geblieben unbeholfen. He was helpless. He was unable to perform what he was intending to perform. Sie haben sich geknäuelt. They kind of wrestled with one another, und gerangelt wie a Hund, and yeah, wrestled and kind of turned around one another like a dog with Zeug. What a Zeug is a what?
A
A
female
bone?
dog.
A
A
female
female
dog.
dog.
A
A-
bitch, a dog and a bitch.
Yeah.
Is that right? A
Yeah.
dog and a bitch?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. The anderen untergegeben courage. The other ones were egging them on, giving them courage. Gespett,
Gespett.
spit. What? Gespett und gespiegen. Gespiegen is spit.
Yeah. And
What
Gespett is to make fun of.
Okay, gespett, gespitten sich, geschockelt, were shaking themselves. Geratzt, gerotzt. Gerotzt. What's gerotzt? Gerotzt.
Yeah, Rotz is mucus. I don't know what Gerotz is though.
Gerotzt.
Rotz is snot. So
Oh.
Rotz, yeah, no, Gerotz, yeah, I don't know.
Okay, well, we're getting a picture here. Amoid Afazanish.
Sure are. We sure are.
Okay, this is a mob to be wary of forever. Amoid, a woman, a girl, with Afazan, Moid Afazanish, like a horrible looking one.
Exactly.
With a viereckigen Kopf, with a square head, full mit cold tennis. Matted hair, full with cold
Yes.
tennis?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mit a goiter in Hals, and she had a goiter on her neck, is gesessen auf an aufgehackten Stamm, was sitting on chopped stump, geschluchzt. What is she doing? She was chortling?
No.
Sobbing.
Yeah. She
Yeah,
was
sobbing.
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 Like
Okay.
we say, there's the line between laughing and crying here.
Oh, she was kind of yeah, I get it. Chortling, like with laughter.
No, sobbing. She was sobbing.
Epis gerufen, something, calling something. Übergehasert, was saying something again and again. Das eigene Wort, the same word, überamol, again and again, und wiederamol. She was saying something again and again, the same word, again and again, like I would imagine like a crazy person. Sie hat gebrochen die Hand. She wasn't really breaking her hand. She
No,
was
wringing her hands.
wringing her hands. Lange wie bei Malpil, long hands like a monkey, und breite wie bei a Mannsbill, and wide like a man's hands. Die Nägel auf die Finger, the nails on her fingers, seien alle gewesen abgefeuert. They were spoiled. Abgefeuert means rotten.
Yeah,
Right?
rotted off.
brought it off. Die Fies bedeckt mit Makis. Her feet were covered with dirt? No,
Wounds.
boils.
Yeah. Yeah.
Und flashig wie bei Agans. Und flatschig wie
Flatschig.
flat like Agans is a nice Agans is
A duck, isn't it?
a duck. Yeah.
A goose.
A goose. A goose. A goose. A goose. A goose.
A goose, flat-footed like a goose. Die anderen haben sich gesammelt darum ihr. The other ones were surrounding her. Sie geprüft trösten. They were trying to comfort her.
Yeah.
Emmets hat ihr zugetragen a Schelchel akavit. One of them brought her a shockel, I think, is a cup or a like
Yes.
they didn't drink. What's a shockel? Some kind of something that you take a
it's the diminutive of shawl, a
Like
saucer,
a shot glass?
bowl.
Okay.
No, it's a saucer. A saucer.
A saucer of akuvat, which is the drink. Sie hat geöffnet a krummel. She opened a krumm is crooked mouth, mit an einzigen Zahn with one tooth und sich vergangen noch höher, and was doing what she was doing even more, which is sobbing and chortling. Oi, tatala, tatala. Oh, dad, dad, dad. I think I can stop there. I didn't do that badly. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. My gosh.
Well done. Well done. Okay, Yankov, it is your turn now.
Okay. Heißt es, sie ruft euch dem Vater. And it seems that she was calling her father, hat Yaakov zu sich gesagt. Yaakov said to himself, sie weist euch, as is da a Vater in Himmel. She knows also that there is a Father in heaven. A groß Rachmanus hat ihm umgenommen auf dem dosigen Beschäfnis. A great compassion overcame him for this creature, was is bald von der Mutters Trachter Reus Azura Meshune, who came out of her mother's womb as a strange creature, a shtick verkrimenisch, a deformed creature, a monkalb, a freak. Wer weiß, auf wem die Mutter hat sich verguckt beim Porn? Who knows what the mother was looking at the time of porn of the match. Wer weiß, was für eine sündige Neshama sis in ihr Megulgel? Who knows what kind of sinful soul was transformed in her? Das ist nicht gewinn glatt a gewein, nor a geklog von a Nefesh, was hat der Sinn dem ganzen Abgrund von Jesurim. This was not simply a cry, nor a lament of a soul who has seen the whole background of suffering
Now, Abgrund here is chasm. Abgrund, chasm, or cliff. So you see in front of you a cliff.
Okay. So that had seen the cliff of suffering und weißt, als kein Antrennung ist nicht da, and who knows that there is no escape. Das hat Chaya durch etwas a Wunder der blickt ihre eigene Chayigkeit und sich zerrivet auf ihr Geurel. So this was an animal through which was by some kind of wonder recognized in her, that she recognized in her an animalistic nature, and was trying to mend her fate.
Well, Tserevet here, I say,
does justice.
Howling. She was howling at her fate.
Sorry, was?
Reven is to howl or to roar. So, and sich zerrevet auf ihr Geurel, and she was howling at her fate.
Okay. Howling. I saw it as mending in my dictionary.
Really?
But the howling Tsereven does sound.
Yeah, I think it's a homonym. Because Tsereven is to darn, but this is Tserevet, not Tserevet.
Okay. Jakob hat gewollt sich der Nenteren zu ihr, sie trösten. Jakob wanted to approach her to comfort her. Aber hat erkannt, als ihre krumme Augen spältlich hat der Kont in ihre krumme Augen spältlich, als der Zar hat nicht gelindert bei ihr dem Zorn. But he recognized in her twisted eye, slits of her eyes, that the pain was not relieved in her by means of rage.
I think similar. I would say that her sorrow had not mollified her anger.
Well, mollified and relieve?
Yeah. But,
similar?
Yeah, right, yes. But the direct object of gelindert is dem Zorn. So hadn't relieved her anger, yes.
Okay. Aza eine kon sich werfen auf ihm wie a verzickendike bestie. Such a person could throw herself at him like I couldn't find verzickendike.
Oh, there's verzuckendig, and I think that's what it should be, devouring. Verzucken is to devour. Beast. Yeah.
Okay. Jakob hat sich weggesetzt auf ein Stein, genommen murmelen a Kapitel Tehillim. So Jakob sat down on a stone and began to mumble a capital of Psalms. Hashem marabu tzorai, rabim kamim alai, rabim oimrim lenafshi, ein Yeshua sa, lo belokim sela. So I got a translation of this Psalm 3 from verses 2 to 4. Hashem, my foes are many, many those who attack me. Many say of me, there is no deliverance from him through Hashem. Okay. Inmitten der Nacht, der Nacht hat ungeheuben regnen. In the middle of the night, it began to rain. Es hat getan a Blitz und Jakob hat der Sinn auf a Weil die Stall, die Kie, die Mist, die erdene Tepp, wie bei Tag. There was a crack of lightning, and Yaakov saw for a moment the stable, the cows, the dung, the earthenware pots, as if it was daylight. Bald hat getan a knall der Dünner, and soon afterwards the thunder was heard, roared. Jakob hat abgegossen die Nägel, gemacht 2 Broches. Jakob washed his fingertips, and he made 2 blessings. Ose maase bereshis un shichocho ugvuraso malay olam. So these are the 2 blessings that he made. Which one says when getting up and washing the hands. Der Wind hat.
Well, these are blessings specifically. I think these are specific blessings for lightning and for thunder. The one who does the miracles of creation and whose strength fills the world.
Okay. So the wind hat tore open, hat aufgeprallt das Tierl von Stau. It tore open the door of the stable. A Schlagsregen is gefallen. A cloudburst fell, gepoikt in Dach via Hogel, and it drummed on the roof like hail. Jakob is weg zurück, verkeitlende Tier. He went to refasten the door. Aber der Regen hat ihm geschmissen wie mit Beichtchen. But the rain beat him like with whips. Sommerzeit pflegen euch treffen na so eine Fleitsregens. In summertime, there also occurred such a heavy downfall, heavy rain, flooding rain. Aber jetzt hat Jakob mehr gehabt, als das Umwetter kann dauern lang. But now Yaakov was afraid that this bad weather could last for a long time. Azoi is wahrhaftig geschehen, and this is exactly what happened. Das Gissenisch hat noch a Zeit aufgehört. The pouring rain stopped after a while, aber der Himmel ist geblieben verwolkend, but the heavens remained covered with cloud. An eisige Kält hat angeblasen von die Berg. An icy cold wind was blowing down from the mountains. Fartog hat wieder genommen gissen, and at dawn it once again began to pour. Die Sonne ist ergens aufgegangen, aber der Frühmorgen hat sich getunkelt wie Nacht. Somewhere the sun rose, but in the early morning was dark, like as dark as dusk. Von Unreißen groß hat nicht gekonnt sein kein Raid. There could be no possibility of cutting grass. Die Behemoths haben gegessen von der Kuppe, was Jakob hat zugegräht auf Shabbos. The animals ate, the cows ate from the pile which Yaakov had prepared for Shabbos. Yaakov hat ungezündet a paar trockene Zweigler. Yaakov lit a few dry branches auf die Steiner von Heimlichkeit wegen, in order to try and make things a little cozy. Is gesessen beim Feuer und gedavent. He sat at the fire and he davened, he prayed. Hat gewendet das Ponim zu Mizrach und sich gestellt Shmone Esra. He turned his face towards the east and he stood up to say the Amidah, the Shmona Esra, the prayer of 18 or 19 verses, which you say standing facing Jerusalem. Aku hat umgekehrt dem Kopf, gehabter Blick. A cow turned its head and looked at him. Von dem größten Eug hat rausgetreuert Temper Untertänigkeit. From its big eye, there sadly looked out a look of blunt submission. Auf der schwarze Morde mit die spitzige Haar, nasser von Gaver or Gaver.
Gaver.
Oh, pardon?
It's Gaver.
Gaver.
Spittle.
Slobber, spittle, yes. Hat gegangen a Verdruss. From its black muzzle, with its prickly hair, which was wet with slobber, there was a look of regret. Jakoven hat sich oft ausgedacht, als die Behemoths teinen Stummerheit. Verwus bist du etwas ein Mensch und mir seinen Ki? And it seemed to Yaakov that the animals were complaining silently. Why are you a person and we are cows? Wie is der Yosha? Where's the justice in this? Hat sie eingenommen mit Glätten, Pätschlen mit untertrogen Geschmacke Kreiterzer zum Pisk. And he tried to calm them by stroking them, by patting them, by bringing tasty herbs to their snouts. Hat mispallel gewinnt für sie in Gedank, and he prayed for them in his thoughts. Vater in Himmel, du weißt doch, zu was du hast sie beschaffen. God in heaven, you know why you created them. Sie seien doch Gewerk von deiner Hand. They are the work of your hands. In Achris Hayamim müssen sie doch euch kriegen Artikeln. And at the end of days, they must also receive some redress.
Von Davenen hat Yaakov gegessen Brot mit Milch. After praying, Yaakov ate bread with milk, wie euch an apple, was Wanda hat ihm übergelost, Nächten in Oven, and also an apple that Wanda had left for him yesterday evening. Ob es soll regnen den ganzen Tag, wird Wanda von Nacht nicht kommen. If it's going to rain all day, that's it, right. Wird sich müssen nähren bloß mit Säuermilch. Wanda won't come, so he'll have to nourish himself only with sour milk. A Michael was es ihm schon gekrochen von Hals. Food which already he didn't like at all. It was already coming out of his throat. He had it up to here with that milk. Hat darüber lang gekeilt jeden Bissen, but therefore he chewed every bite for a long time. Gekriegen dem vollen Tam to receive its entire flavor. Hat keinmal nicht gewusst, in Tatens und in schweres Haus, als a Mensch kann haben as a Appetit. He had never realized in his father's house and in his father-in-law's house that a person can have such an appetite, und as Brot mit Kleien kann sein as so Geschmack, and that bread with chaff can be so tasty. Hat gespürt, bescheinbarlich, wie von jedem Schlung kommt ihm zu Marach in die Beine. He could feel clearly that from every swallow, he got more marrow in his bones. Das Tirol is gestanden offen. The little door was standing open, weil der Wind hat aufgehört, because the wind had stopped. And Yaakov hat jedes Mal gehabt a Blick zum Draußen. And Yaakov, from time to time, or continually, was looking out to the outdoors. Wird sich fort ausleitern. Maybe it will actually clear up. Es ist zu früh für die Herbstige Regens. It's too early in the year for the autumn rains. Aber der Regen is gefallen, but the rain kept falling and falling. Die weite Stochim was mazet von dannen in Lindetag, the distant places which one can see from here on nice days, seinen hat verschwunden, had disappeared in the mist. When es ist gar nicht geblieben, mehr wie das flache Bergel, and nothing remained to see except the flat hill, wo es ist gestanden die Stall, the hilltop where the stable was standing. Als is gehat ausgerunnen und geworden abgemerkt. Everything had become colorless and erased. Der Himmel, die Berg, die Tollen, die waldige Schipuim, the heavens, the mountains, the valleys, the forested declivities, Schipuim, the slopes. Azoi, wie es hat geregnet, haben Knäulen Neppel sich gekeikelt auf der Erde. And just as it was raining, threads of fog were rolling down across the ground. Stickerneppel haben sich geräuchert auf die Zweigen von die Sosnes. Pieces of fog were glowing, geräuchert, or smoking on the branches of the fir trees, wie sie wollten gebrennt, nasserhet, as if the trees were burning, even though wet. Yankov hat erst da in der Verwoglenisch vernommen dem Main von Hester Ponnen und Simtsum. Yankov, for the first time here in this distant place to wander, had he understood the meaning of the hidden nature of God and of the contraction of God to make way for the universe. This is Lurianic Kabbalah. Was wegen dem hat gelernt in Kabbalah Sforim, which he had studied, he had learned about it in the Kabbalah books. Früher is alles gewesen lichtig. Jetzt is alles trieb. Earlier, everything was bright, but now everything is sad. Weitkeiten seien geworden eingeschrumpen. Distances were shriveled. Heuchkeiten seien sich zerfallen. High places had fallen. The Gewänder von a Gezelt. A Gezelt is a tent. What a Gewänder?
God, it is fabric, the fabric of a tent.
A Gewand, yeah, okay, like the fabric of a tent. Das Mamsche-Sticker hat verloren die Haft. Things which had an actual existence had lost their strength, their what's holding them together. Heint, wie bald a so viel Schönheit können Rege sich verschließen vor dem Eug. Was is Blut and flesh? Now, given that such beauty can in a moment be locked away in front of your eye, an eye which is just flesh and blood. Was is noch mit dem Eug von der Neshama? What then can you say about an eye that belongs to the soul? Jeder einer is massig, leut sein Wert, und gar nicht mehr. Everyone can only grasp what he is worthy of, and not more. Solike oilams, hecholas, malochim, seraphim, oifnei kodesh, ringlen unserum. Uncountable universes, courtyards or heavenly courts, angels, seraphim, and holy beings surround us. Nor mir sehen sie nicht, but we don't see them. Weil mir seinen klein, sindig, reingetan in die Eitelkeiten von Guf. We don't see them because we are small, sinful, and ensconced in our body's Eitelkeit. Not sure what Eitelkeit is. I'm just looking it up in my dictionary here. Eitelkeit is emptiness.
Frivolity?
Yeah, emptiness or worthlessness. Yeah. Maybe there's time for one more paragraph. The Alamol in a regen, as it always happens when it rains, haben allerlei Bruemlech gesucht Schutz. All sorts of creatures were searching for protection in der Stall, in the stable. Es seien ungeflogen Babelech, Micken, Juklich, Zummerfeglich, Hesheriken. There flew in Babelech and Micken. I don't know what those are. Juklich are just bugs. Zummerfeglich are moths. And Hesheriken are crickets. But what are Micken and that's in, I'm sure I can find Micken in the dictionary here. A mick is a mosquito, of course. And babel, any idea?
Insects.
Yeah, okay, insects of some sort. Good. So all sorts of insects were flying in. Ein Bashef initial hat gehat zwei Porfliegel. One of these critters had two pairs of wings. A flatteral mit weiße Fliegelech und schwarze Zeichens, wie a Schrift, hat sich weggestellt auf a Stein neben Feuer. A butterfly with white wings and dark markings, like an inscription, settled itself on a stone near the fire, sich upon gewarmt. Clearly it was warming itself, ungetrickend and drying itself. Yankov hat weggelegt der Fahrerbreckelbreit. Yankov set aside for it a crumb of bread, aber es ist geblieben vergliedert. But the butterfly remained motionless. Nach a while hat Yankov sich gehabt, als es ausgegangen. After a while, Yaakov discovered that it had died. Hat es geträselt, und es hat sich mehr nicht gerührt. He shook it, but it wasn't moving any longer. A vetik hat Yankov genommen und gewein. Pain grabbed hold of Yaakov, and also a moan. Schein abgeflattert. It's fluttered for the last time. Hat so getan auf den Call. He said aloud. Hat gewollt sagen a hesped auf dem zierlichen Bashefanish. He wanted to recite a eulogy for this zierlich, adorned creature, was hat abgelebt a messless, which had only lived for 24 hours, or noch weniger, or maybe less, nicht versucht den Tam von Sint, and had never tasted sin. Mistama hat man es bedarft. Maybe, or likely, it had been necessary. Die Fliegelich seinen glatter von Seid. The wings are softer than satin. Bestäubt mit der Stäub, and covered with a dust, nicht von der Welt, unearthly. Es ist gestanden wie ein Mace in Tachrichim. The butterfly was standing like a dead body in its burial shrouds.